Good enough. At work, my battery is okay. I haven't even charged it yet. Hey everyone, Trisha, Naked Army, and all those that randomly come across my videos. If you're a baby screaming in the background, that's my friend's kid. She's kind of having a rough day. I woke up and she was just like screaming at the top of her lungs, and I'm like, yep, they're parents now, so that's a thing. Man, I've never had like a really big surgery. I've never had any type of medical procedure, really. I had tubes in my ears when I was a kid. I had those removed when I was really young. I vaguely remember the pain of getting those removed, but I mean that was me as a kid, so I don't really know how to express what that was like back then. The only real major surgery I had, not surgery, the only real major procedure I had was actually colonoscopy when I was 21. I was getting a lot of intense stomach cramps. I was getting really, really sharp pains like all across my abdomen, and like it was really like crippling. Like I couldn't move. Like I really had to just ride out this pain. And I went to go see this doctor, this medical person in Chicagoland area, and he's like, "Well, the symptoms you're giving me is diverticulitis." And I said, "What's diverticulitis?" And he said, that's little pockets opening along the lining of your intestine. Food and particles and stuff get caught in there, so you're going to have to basically change the way you eat and the foods you can have for the rest of your life. It's a big life-changing thing. And I'm like, man, really? Like I can't have certain breads, I can't have certain vegetables or fruits because of the tiny seeds in them. I can't have this, I can't have that. And so Christmas break comes along, and I go to my family doctor, and I go home. And I tell him, the guy said he thinks I have diverticulitis. He said, "You're 21 though. That doesn't make a lot of sense that you would get that at your age. I would much rather have you do a colonoscopy." Well, first he sent me to get an MRI. They did an MRI. No, not an MRI. They sent me to get a CAT scan. They sent me to get a CAT scan. Came back completely fine. They said it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with your intestines, with your stomach or anything, but just to be sure we should do a colonoscopy. And I'm like, wow, that thing that old people get? You mean that thing that my dad gets 2 times a year to check for colon cancer because of runs in our family and whatnot? Wow, I'm getting a colonoscopy. That's actually like a major thing. And the prep for it was horrible. They give you this liquid, they give you this food to just flush your system completely. You can't have any solids. You can only have liquids and soups. Soups with nothing in it really, because they don't want anything to interfere with the camera as it's moving through. So that was rough, and I barely remember it. I went in and I laid on the table, and the doctor and the nurse said something to me. I don't remember what they were saying though, and I kind of I just fell asleep. They connected my IV up to the system, and I just fell asleep. I woke up during the procedure because of a funny reason. And it was, the doctor had finished what he was doing, and the camera screen is like in front of me as well as in front of the doctor's because it's a big screen. And he was pulling the camera out, and I knew he was pulling out because it's like a huge pressure relief. It's like taking a massive dump that just doesn't end. You can just feel it continuously going out. Apparently, he pulled it around a corner in my intestine too fast and knocked the side of my intestine, and it actually jolted me awake. I remember waking up. I'm like, "Oh, is that my intestine?" And then I just fell right back asleep. It took me about 45 minutes to fully wake up and come back later. Or fully wake up and come back to my senses. And I just remember waking up in my room, sitting on my bed, and Mom's like, "Oh, you're awake again?" And this part scared me. I said, "What do you mean again?" She said, "The doctor was just in here. You were having a full conversation with him. You were just talking with him normally." And I don't remember, and I still don't remember talking to the doctor. I remember going from the camera hitting my intestine to me sitting up in bed and just saying, "I think I'm ready to go." Because the stuff had worn off. I was just kind of ready to go, and I just wanted to go home and just kind of lay down and just not really be. Well, anyways, at the end of this story is I didn't have diverticulitis. I was under so much stress from school that my body apparently expresses stress and worries and anxieties and abdominal pain. And as I've continued throughout my life, I've realized that this is true, because anytime I get really stressed out, I get really sharp, really, really sharp stomach pains. I can't really hold any food in me very long, which is why traveling is always such a huge pain in my butt. No pun. That's about the most major thing I've ever had. My mom has had cancer surgery. My dad has had polyps. My dad had polyps removed when he was alive. Other than that, I mean, I've never broken bones. I've never. Well, there was this other time that I got a piece of metal in my eye from my job. Just a small, tiny fragment. It was 2 millimeters from the dead center of my cornea. And they had to get a drill to drill out the rust that had formed around it. And because it was my eye, like, I couldn't close my eye, and because it was dead center, I couldn't look away. So if you remember that scene from Star Trek First Contact, it's in the very opening where, like, Picard's flashing back and, like, that needle thing comes closer and closer to his eye and pushes on his cornea. That was me. Except I was awake, and it was actually drilling my eye. And my girlfriend at the time was so wonderful and helping me. She drove me around to get my medication. She took care of me. She put me up in her house with the stuff on my eye. And yeah, I forgot about that one. That was very minor, and that was probably only like 4 or 5 years ago. So that's it. Those are my 2 big medical stories, and one of them's not even that big. Good luck with whatever you decide to do, and with whatever happens next. It's great that the doctors gave you the opinions, and that you got the variety of opinions that the doctors gave, and everything sounds like it'll work itself out, which is really cool. As far as new topics for Naked Truth, because you're very busy and whatnot, I mean, you're having a kid, like, that just opens up the possibilities. You can talk about disciplinary actions as far as, like, spanking or not spanking goes, vaccinations, as the anti-vax movement is apparently a thing. I don't have kids, so I really don't pay attention to a lot of this. You can talk about just a lot of parenting things, or a lot of different ideas when it comes to raising a child, because, you're entering that phase, and that would be really good for you to hear people talk about it, and for us to share our thoughts and opinions on it. So, I mean, you can just go with basic stuff like that. I mean, you're going into this really cool new chapter of your life. Like, man, that's so awesome. And once again, congratulations. I don't know why you didn't get my last video on this. I resent it today, so hopefully you get this one too. So other than that, I'm still on vacation, and it's wonderful up north here. There is, oh, I gotta flip this around. There is tons of snow on the ground outside. I'm in the basement. That's not really like 4 feet of snow. And my birthday was amazing, and it was cool that Paulo came out, and it was great to see him again. I won't see him again until VidCon when I fly out there. Yeah, man, it's been a fun week, especially now that I get to take an extra week off for vacation. So hope everybody's doing well. Trisha, Nate, have a good week, and I'll see you guys next time.